Just a quick statement. As some of you might remember, I was here the last time, shortly, after the transfer of power in February. This time, I am here to lead an integrated United Nations needs assessment mission. During my 3-day stay here in Mali, I have met with senior government figures and leaders of political parties, members of the Election Commission, and representatives of the diplomatic corps and civil society to discuss the current situation and identify opportunities to support the country's process of democratic consolidation. I was accompanied by members of the Department of Political Affairs, of the UN Development Program, UNDP, and the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights. You can refer to the press statement for additional details regarding the approach and focus of the mission that will be distributed here shortly. In a nutshell, the mission seeks to assess the political and electoral context with a view of recommending whether the UN should provide electoral assistance for the next presidential election of 2013. If the recommendation is to provide assistance, this mission also recommends the type of assistance that could be provided. A small team of electoral experts will stay behind for a few more days to complete the overall electoral needs assessment. As I said in the outset, I visited the Maldives last time in February at the height of the political crisis following the 7 February transfer of power. I have observed that some degree of calm has returned to the society. However, we are also concerned about recent incidents of violence and complaints about police conduct. The recommendations of the Commission of National Inquiry, CONI, offer an important opportunity to address major underlying challenges to the country's democratic consolidation. For this reason, I have emphasized to my interlocutors the urgency for the Maldives to resume political dialogue at all levels, promote messages of moderation and respect, and implement without delay institutional reforms, particularly in the areas of police, justice, the People Majlis, the Human Rights Commission, and the media, as recommended by the Commission of National Inquiry. Throughout this period, the United Nations has worked very closely with all actors to promote dialogue and has remained actively engaged in promoting equitable development, inclusive democratic processes, and human rights throughout the broad range of programs that the UN agencies here in the Maldives are implementing in close collaboration with its partners. I have stressed that the next elections should be not only free, fair, and credible, but also peaceful and inclusive. I have also made it clear to all that elections by themselves are not a solution. The solution to political problems must be one generated by national actors through political dialogue and supported by the people. So thank you very much. That concludes just my introductory statements.
Jad, I'm from media. Now, during your assessment, you have said that something regarding the police activities. Is there any assessment earlier before you made this assessment regarding police activities that you have mentioned, aforementioned police activities that you have assessed here recently, as you have said?
Well, again, let me just state the electoral needs assessment assesses many different dimensions of the key, if you will, ingredients to an environment that would be conducive to free, fair, and credible elections. And certainly the police is one of the many stakeholders, actors, if you will, in ensuring the safety, security of the people that will be turning out to vote on the day of elections. But certainly something that we look into is what has been happening over the last few months and anticipate, the type of conduct, the type of measures that we expect the police to put in place in order to ensure the safety and security of these elections. And we have, of course, seen that the Commission of National Inquiry made some relevant recommendations as to some issues that needed follow-up, particularly as it relates to the Police Integrity Commission, in terms of the behavior of the police during the past incidents, particularly those related around the months of January and February. And we note that some investigations might have started, others it was not very clear exactly where the different investigations as to some allegations of abuse and excessive use of force and things of this sort were at. So we have raised these as in part of our meetings with the national authorities.
Yeah, my question reflected on the recent call by Commissioner of Police to the Parliament to eject the fear, to empower the police. But I would like to ask you my question, really, we were talking about this election. What kind of support, what kind of assistance? You're going to make a proposal as USS from here things. Because recently there have been a lot of concern about the Elections Commission, the party membership issues, that some it is not upgraded, the list. So about the voters list and how many people have to be registered, how is this process? Are you going to do that, help in them improve the voters registered electoral processes?
Okay, I think I understood the question. It came very cut. In our consultations, and again, we did meet with the members of the National Elections Commission. We met with different political parties, representatives of civil society, government officials, the diplomatic corps, etc. And many issues were raised. I mean, the electoral process involves many different dimensions, and one of the ones that the UN usually looks into quite carefully is how we support the capacities that might be required with the electoral management bodies. In this particular case, the Electoral Commission. The issue of the National Registry did come up as a concern for several political parties. This is always a challenge in all elections, not just in the Maldives. And this is an area where, assistance to the work of the Electoral Commission to update and to update the registry would be taking place. And so this is one possible area of support to the Commission itself in how it will be undertaking this. So, the role of the UN is to strengthen the capacity. Could be. I mean, we have not yet finalized this assessment, but one of them is precisely how to strengthen the capacities of the Electoral Commission, how to strengthen its capacity for outreach, which we think is very important, outreach to civil society, outreach to political parties, to undertake an active campaign of voter education, to anticipate maybe a dispute resolution mechanism. There are many dimensions of the work of the Electoral Commission, and again, we are now in the middle of assessing what this commission might require in order to perform better. There's been a lot of lessons learned from elections happening here in the Maldives that obviously we will look and see if any of these recommendations warrant particular support. So, there are many possibilities of the type of support.
Thank you. Next question, Rima.
Rima from EPSID. My question is, considering the current political situation, the recent developments, and with reference to the observation of your team, do you believe that there is a chance for free, fair, and independent election in 2013?
Well, this is what we're here to assess, and in our discussions with all the stakeholders, this is something that everybody has affirmed that this is what they want to see in the Maldives. So this again is a question of how the environment, the electoral environment, is supported by all the stakeholders, political parties, the population, the civil society, the different actors. I think this is a very important question, and we, in the United Nations, one of the key concerns, is to ensure that, of course, elections are, credible, free, and fair, but also that they are inclusive and that they are free of violence, that they are peaceful. And so one of the issues that we think is extremely important is that the level of political engagement and dialogue among the political party leaders of the different parties of the Maldives, that merits a certain sense of undertaking, that it would be very good to start seeing the political leaders engaging in political party leaders' dialogue and talks, and this is something that we have been encouraging for many months now since my last visit. We think that that would be a very important signal in terms of, addressing the concerns, the issues of perception that could be happening, to create an environment of inclusiveness and peace. I think it's going to be very, very important that the messages, the political discourse, the rhetoric, etc., is one where tolerance and a peaceful engagement and depersonalification of the political discourse happens. And I think the challenges of the Maldives are many, and certainly the Maldives has huge challenges in terms of looking for ways to enhance, expand opportunities for youth employment, opportunities for women to participate in the society, in the economy of this country, opportunities and needs to start addressing the impact of climate change and mitigating measures on the environment, things of the sort. So these are very important structural issues that we hope that many of the political leaders start addressing, talking about the future of the country and hopefully not getting too much caught in the past. I think this is one message that I have shared with many of the interlocutors that I have had the chance to engage with.
Thank you. The TV.
Abdullah from the TV. As you mentioned, this is your second visit after February transfer of power, right? Do you see any progress in democratic reform after transfer of power?
Well, again, this, as I said in my opening statement, I think that there are challenges that remain, despite the transfer of power, which the National Commission of Inquiry determined the constitutionality of it. There are challenges, and I think the challenges are known to the people of the Maldives. I think there are challenges in terms of the reforms that need to happen in the justice sector, challenges in the reforms that need to happen in the security sector as it regards to the training and the professionalization of the police, challenges as it refers to the workings of the parliament, and so there's many issues I think that have been brought forward, and we hope that these issues will be addressed sooner rather than later, because I think that they are issues that speak to the quality, if you will, of the democratic transition. So we are very hopeful that these issues will start being the focus of the attention. The Human Rights Commission has been doing very good work and has been advancing. So we see, progress in different levels, and there's a lot of work to be done. We hope, and we're grateful today to have this opportunity to engage with the media. I think the media plays a very, very important role. What type of messages, what type of encouragement, what type of education can be used by the media, through the media. I think the people of the Maldives will obviously be following very closely electoral developments, and again, the media has a very important role in terms of ensuring that the messages of peace and tolerance and conciliation and focusing on the substantive issues that need to be addressed by the leaders of the different parties happen. So it is a challenge for you as journalists and reporters to ensure as well that the issues that speak to the future generations of the Maldives are being addressed now, and that the substantive programs of the different parties is what becomes the center of the debate, of the discussion. Do we want this vision of the society or that vision? I think these are the issues that all elections, not just in the Maldives but throughout the world, this is what this is all about. It's the vision of the future and the programs that different leaders have thought of discussing, and it is those programs that hopefully are voted on in election day.
Thank you. Gentleman from Sun.
I'm Nasim from San Mande. When you discussed about the urgency of resuming political dialogue in the Maldives, how was the response from different stakeholders in this meeting?
That's a good question. I think overall, interestingly, I think all the stakeholders we spoke to admitted that when there was ongoing political dialogue, that the situation in the country tended to, the tension or the sense of polarization tended to be reduced, because there was the perception that there was a discussion going, and that the leaders were able to manage, if you will, and this is why dialogue is so important, because the dialogue is about managing both perceptions and reality about what is happening in a country. So I think everybody unanimously agreed that that would be a good idea. Of course, the challenge is how this will happen, who takes that first step, and the mechanisms. Now, we know that in the parliament there are discussions. I mean, many different bills are up for a vote, and so there is a discussion going on at the Majlis level. There's discussions happening at different levels of society, at the technical level. It is important to complement all those discussions by ongoing discussions among the political leaders, and I think this is part of the responsibility of being political party leaders, is to ensure that that dialogue and that mechanism is happening, you know, to manage and to create that conducive environment of tolerance and debate about substance and issues that speak to the priorities of the Maldives.
Thank you. Do we have any more? Yes. Raja TV.
I'm Sai from Raja TV, and with light to the new political developments in the country, I'm particularly referring to the GMR issue. The many citizens in the country and the Indian government have also said that the decision taken by the government and President Wahid Hassan Malik is particularly politically motivated. So what do you think this development in the politics in the country, do you think the chances for the process of democratic consolidation would be affected by this decision? What do you think about it?
Well, in our stay, we didn't really have a chance to really get involved in this very on the issue of the GMR. I mean, certainly when we assess the general environment, of course we factor in, and you see even your question actually speaks to the many factors that can influence the environment of an election. And you know, I did not address that specifically because it is a contractual dispute, and it's a very complicated one, which we as a mission did not really, we did not get involved. I mean, we heard the views. Some interlocutors referred to this as an issue of concern, others not. I mean, so we are not forming an opinion on this. I mean, this is a national matter. It's being addressed by the different political parties within the Majlis, outside, etc. So I think this is a, had we been a different type of mission, sort of focusing on economic issues and contractual issues, maybe we would have had more time to go into the details. And frankly, we did not have time, and it was not really the focus of our discussion. But again, it's always important that in the way issues are referred to, whether they be contractual, whether they be anything, that the message always be one of looking for solutions, constructive solutions, I think that's what would be extremely important to underline.